right, we on, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. James.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. How are you doing?
I hope everybody's having a great day at the Olympian Table today. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, dance around the table.
We're trying to do the best we can. The best we can, man. We got a little bit different setup today.
But we're doing better than Kanye West this morning.
Hey, it's funny that you say that because that is one. I didn't put it in the title, but it is definitely we're doing better than him. I mean, to lose. Well, Adidas is losing, a lot. So for those of you that don't know, Kanye made some comments a few days ago, last week, and anti-Semitic comments. I would say, I don't know how egregious they were, but this is the prime example. We've talked about freedom of speech, right? And my thoughts are that you should be able to say whatever it is that you want to say. You should be able to say whatever it is, but you got to deal with the consequences. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the consequence when you say whatever it is that you want to say. Because Kanye has fallen from the Forbes billionaires list after Adidas dropped him.
He's
right?
1.5 billion in a matter of weeks, and he's no longer on the billionaires list report.
Yeah, I mean, does that I don't know what does that really mean for him? You think?
I think it hurts his ego more than it does his bank accounts.
I think so too. I mean, you think he drops off the list? It hurts his income. There he is, poor Kanye. It's one of those things where you say what you want to say, but when the people in power are in power, you just can't say whatever it is you want to say. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I just think you've got to be a little bit diplomatic about what you're saying.
You got to be diplomatic, as they say. And I think it was unfortunate that it happened.
And let's sort of fall back to a comment that I made to you before we went on air, which was, are there any good role models out there, for the kids in society or anything out there anymore? Are there really any good role models? With social media, with different things, there's one good role model that I think is fabulous, and I really admire him as a person. That's Michael J. Fox, but he's not, exactly a young individual anymore, and he suffers with a debilitating disease. And I was looking at him at photos the other day, and I'm thinking, that guy's got guts. But when you really look around, and if anybody on the chat, if they've got any ideas who they think is a role model, I think it'd be interesting to see who they.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree with you. There's not many that are left out there these days. Yeah, right. None of these politicians are role models, man. It's a tough time to live in. If you're looking outside of your household as someone to be your role model, because they don't exist. They're not out there, not like they used to be. And not saying that he even is, but you remember the commercial, like Mike, like to be like Mike. There's no more commercials like that anymore. It just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist at all. So it's unfortunate. But anywho, that's the news on Kanye.
But you know what's interesting about Kanye West?
What's that?
They dropped Kanye West, but Adidas shares have gone up a little bit today.
Today?
Yeah.
But they dropped a lot yesterday, and yeah. As a matter of fact, I think as a whole, they stand to lose. They stand to lose $250 million. So they are serious.
Yeah, they did.
About getting rid of that guy.
They went down to 97.38.
Yeah.
Yesterday at 3:00, and now today the shares back up to 103, which is a 10%.
Yeah.
Nearly 10%. So
yeah, it's unfortunate, man, that
actually, as we speak, they're at 101. They've come down a little bit since.
they're 101 now.
They've come down a little bit.
Well, shoot, that's not bad.
But but I have no sympathy with it. I've never ever had any sympathy for,
Well, these celebrities, man, they kind of say what they want to say whenever they want to say it, but
and they feel there's no consequences.
Yeah, exactly. While we're on some celebrities, Elon Musk, of course, this excuse me, the acquisition of Twitter, which I think you and I both mentioned that this wasn't necessarily a bad thing for Elon Musk to be able to come in here, and I think he was doing it for free speech or more free speech, because Twitter is one that does a lot of censoring when it comes to having, the free speech. But with him, coming into everything, he is not playing around, man, with this acquisition, because from what I understand, he's going to be laying off 75% of the work staff, of the workers. So that is the new move by Elon. And I get what he's doing, because if he's coming in and totally changing the culture of the company, you kind of almost got to get rid of everybody. You got to get rid of them. Kind of like when the administration shifts in the president position. You already know, if you're on the staff of the president beforehand, when the new president comes in, you might have a job, but more than likely you don't have a job, because everything goes. So he is cutting out 75% of the staff, laying them off. I don't know when that goes into effect, but that is, I think it has 7,500 workers. So 75% of those folks, they're out of there.
I just think it's a shame. I think Elon is an incredible, I think he's obviously a genius, and from a business point, very creative with all the businesses that he's done. And I just hope that he puts a plus into Twitter. But personally, I think I've been wasted.
Yeah.
I think he needs to stick to I think the Tesla vision, to be perfectly honest, for the point of the planet, with some of the other stuff he's got, with the Boring Company and SpaceX, is far much bigger than Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Just for putting into general society, and I really feel that he could put in more to, the betterment of everybody. With his billions, I don't really feel he's, to me, Twitter's just a rat hole. It causes more problems than.
Well, it's supposed to be a platform for people to say what they want to say.
But that's part of the problem. It causes, hatred, and, people go too far, just like we said.
Yeah.
That's what got Kanye in trouble, wasn't it?
He definitely, obviously, he went too far. But I don't disagree with you having the right to say what you want to say. You just got to deal with the consequences. And if you can deal with, your net worth dropping, where you fall below the 10-figure club, then hey, by all means, that's your business. But he is no longer there after that separation. So it is what it is. Yeah. Have you been in the Discord to see the other items?
I haven't, but I've got one here actually.
What you got? Did you put it in, or?
No, I didn't, because I haven't got Discord because of my problems with
on that one. Okay. If you tell me about it, I might try to find something.
New home sales drop in September after mortgage rates jumped. And then it goes to show how screwed up the market at the moment is, because now there's some people that are even talking about that it's bottomed out. And it's quite funny when you go on the internet and you go onto YouTube and he says, "Oh, we've got another 20% to go."
Right.
There was one nutcase on the YouTube the other day, and he said, "Oh, well, the prices in the Sun Belt will be down 20%." our prices have never in the Sun Belt gone down 20%. Not even in the 2008.
Right.
You know, the most the prices dropped at the most was possibly, 5 to 10%.
So
unless it was a house that was in really bad condition.
It was saying that the home sales were down, or the prices were okay.
Of the homes.
The prices were down.
But it'll never be. I don't think it'll ever be in the Sun Belt. I really don't.
Well, I will say this. I think we still kind of have
flattening off.
A bit. It's flattening, and a bit of an epidemic of some people trying to sell for more than what the house is worth. One of the agents here, we just had a situation where the appraisal came in low. I don't think that was a matter.
The offer was what, 225?
425.
425.
And it came in at 410. Which, when I ran the numbers beforehand,
what you told them?
I told them it was going to be between 390 and 420. It came in at 410. I don't think that's an issue of the home prices falling, though. I think they just had it overpriced.
Because the sellers were expecting to get the prices when the market was hot.
Exactly.
And that's what's happening now at the moment. People have got to understand that the market's dropping a little bit.
It's softening up a little. It's leveling off.
Well, it's not so much dropping, like you said. It's softening up and it's flattening out.
Exactly. It's normalizing.
There's less offers on the property.
Right.
A few more properties on the market. But I mean, we're still getting the leads coming in. I mean, we're still getting people that wants to buy the houses.
Yeah.
So, from that point, we're still getting people who are interested in buying houses coming through our, some of our systems that we've got. And personally, I've seen it go up a little bit. At the end of the year, sometimes people are motivated to sell that house because they don't want to pay
the taxes.
They don't want to pay them property taxes.
They are due, for sure.
All they want to do is to take the cash out of their house and move on.
Right.
And then buy a new house in the new year. Go live in a hotel for Christmas.
Right.
At least it saves the decorations.
We'll see.
Let the hotel do the decorations. So what else you got, James?
So I got a couple articles I had pulled in, man. One was from the California court. Believe it or not, I thought this was very surprising.
No, it's not your toilet again, is it?
No, not at all. Let me see if
is this the lady with the driving test?
No, not that. I got that one will come up next.
Okay.
But check this out. This is a California court that basically gave this
to make a wedding
woman
cake for a same-sex couple is being targeted
a pass
again. This time over his refusal to bake a cake in honor of a customer's gender transition. The new case wrapped up yesterday. Masterpiece cake shop owner Jack Phillips joins us now for a Fox and Friends exclusive, along with Kristen.
Let me see here. Did I lose it? Let me try that again. Try this one more time. Had a little bit of a
who won a Supreme Court case after refusing to make a wedding cake for a same-sex couple is being targeted
California
again.
Court rules in favor of this Kristen Baker about her not wanting to bake this cake.
The new case wrapped up yesterday.
This couple.
Cake shop owner Jack Phillips joins us now for a Fox
the video
and Friends
that I played. It's about a couple minutes.
Kristen Wagner,
Here,
General
we'll
Counsel for Alliance Defending
see what they
Freedom.
say.
Welcome to you both. I'm going to start with you, Jack. You say the Supreme Court has said that you have the right to refuse to do a cake that, defies your religious beliefs. Why do they keep going after you? Why do these activists keep coming in and asking you to do this?
Well, this case actually started the day that the Supreme Court announced that it was going to hear our case. It was a busy, crazy day at the shop, as you can imagine. And an attorney here in Denver called us up and requested that we would create a custom cake. It was pink on the inside and blue on the outside to celebrate a gender transition, a change from a man to a woman.
And your family has been through so much, including death threats. I know you love to make these cakes. You're clearly an artist. You do a beautiful job. But why do you keep doing this? You know that they're coming after you every day.
It has been very hard especially on my wife and my daughter, and then for me to watch as the attorneys and all these things have happened, the death threats and all this, and to have to stand by sometimes and just see the effect that it's had on my family and our business. And but luckily ADF has been able to join in and help with this situation.
Now, apparently this is not the first time, I'll just stop it there. This is not the first time that these people have been sued. This particular baker has been sued, but the Supreme Court basically says, hey, it's a First Amendment victory for them to say that these people have the right not to give business. And that's just like any other business, right? You have a right now if someone comes in to determine if you want to work with someone as far as buying or listing their house, correct?
It's basically a contract. If I work with somebody, I mean, it's a contract.
Right, but if you don't want to...
But if I don't want to execute that contract, I don't have to execute it.
You don't have to.
No.
And you should not have to be taken to court in order to do so. And I think it's ridiculous that this is not even the first time that this has happened for these people. But I just felt like in California, of all states, very liberal state, but the Supreme Court said, hey, you know what? Leave these people alone. Let them do what they do. If they don't want to do your cake, they don't have to do your cake. Go get a life. So basically, it was a win for this baker, which it sounds like those folks, they've been through it quite a bit, spending their time in court because people keep coming after them about baking these cakes. So,
well, if they're looking for something to bake them a cake, let me know. I'll bake them.
Do it right.
It might not look good, but I'll bake them.
It may not look good. Well, maybe not taste good, but you can make it look good, right?
Yeah, cupcakes.
Yeah. Hey, who doesn't love a cupcake? Yeah. Individually baked and
individually wrapped.
Right. Take them around and stuff them in your pie hole. So
there you go. We can definitely do that.
All right, let's see.
Go on. This is my favorite one that you've told me about.
So this lady,
has been very creative. She's been.
Oh no, not her. Hold on, wrong one. This lady, here she is.
Go on. This lady has been very, very creative. All right. Very creative, and she's done 150 driving tests.
150. I mean, I guess during this time, you got to figure out a way to make some money. You know what I'm saying? She took 150 driving tests.
You see what country that's in?
Yeah. I saw that.
Good old Wales.
I saw that. Let me see. I got some audio of this thing. Let's see where it's coming from.
And actually, and it's not Lanelli, everybody's Lanelli.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. What you gotta make some money.
Well, she's going to make money, and can you really knock her about trying to do it? It's unfortunate that it's that way, but
they should make it so easy.
No, I agree. She's unfortunately, gotten into a bind, I guess, of sorts, to where she had to make a decision on what she's going to do with spending this money, man. And I think it's crazy that she was able to get away with it 150 times. I mean, who's checking this stuff?
What I'd like to know is how many times was she doing that a week, or how many times was she doing it a month, and how long was it going on for?
I don't know, man. That's crazy. If you think, well, it's 150 tests. They only open 5 days a week. Man, I mean,
was the inspector in on it?
I don't know. And you know what? She was doing it for
driving license is offered online for $600. £600. That's like £750, £800.
Yeah, she was doing it for people that couldn't speak English. That's basically what it sounded like took place. She was doing it for folks that couldn't speak English.
Crash for cash used to call it. Hold on, crash for cash. 77 cents and some Well, that's been going for a long time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They pull up in front of you and they slam on their brake.
Yep.
You go in their ear record, then all of a sudden you're paying their insurance bill.
Yeah. Stop that there. Where are we at here? Yeah, crash for cash. I guess that happens in I don't even know. Is it different over there to take a driving test in the UK to, or is it similar to what's
when
over here?
Mine, it might have been a bit different than it is now, but I mean, you have to do. I think you have to do like 18 hours in a car with an instructor, and you know he'd have his pedals to make sure you didn't think stupid.
Ah, I got you.
And then you'd sort of book up and take your driving test. But it was like 18 hours you had to do. You know, I mean, I'm sure they've changed it by now.
I got you.
I'm sure they've changed it by now.
I got you. Well, it's I mean, she did it. She's talking about capitalism. She found a way to get over there and make some money, pay some bills. So it's unfortunate, but you know, it happened. But yeah, 29 years old, 150 tests, man. That's a lot. That's a lot of freaking tests. But I thought that was interesting that she did that, or was able to do that, shall I say.
Was she? Do you think she was in league with some of the driving tests?
You know what? I don't know.
Like with the the testers. I mean,
you would think she would have to be.
Wouldn't they recognise her and say?
That's what I'm saying. It's like you there almost every day taking those tests.
Yeah, but I don't think she would have done every day. Not at 600. Not in England. £600. I mean, £600 for the average day person over there would see him through maybe a couple of weeks or something. But that's where my mum was over there.
Yeah.
She's an old age pensioner.
I got you. Here's another little.
Talking a pint of beer at the moment over there, which is like, I don't know, £5, £6.
So was that like $6, $7 here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. For one beer. Oh man, I'm glad I don't drink.
Me too.
This is another little article I found. A lady in Michigan, and of course, they've been through their own share of tough times.
But you know what? What I'll say with this, I have no sympathy for Walmart on this one. Because all this self-checkout shit is for nothing but cutting people's jobs.
That's all it is.
All right. And it's like, honestly, and then you wonder why, you complain why people are stealing stuff.
Yeah.
And I said to my wife the other day, we went to Sam's, which is like the other half of Walmart, and we've got 6 bags of dog food. We've got all the dog stuff. We're going through. We got the Suburban, and we're checking out. And we said, do you know, if we really wanted to, how easy it would be? Because what they normally do is, as you go through Sam's, they you do the self checkout thing, and you go through, and they'll normally check 3 things.
They just click, 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 click,
3 things.
and then go.
That's it. All right. And you could just walk through. You could hide things under it, and then you think. And I said to Karen, I said, if we were really caught criminals, we could even work with the people clicking the stuff on the door, because the people that's going to be in on it are the people that's going to be at the door. So don't complain to me about all this, lossage or loose, whatever they call it.
No, it's real. So a Michigan woman in Walmart, basically, they have caught her and arrested her for what we call skip scanning. Now, I've heard of this before. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but skip scanning is not new. It is not a new concept. It's not new. It's been going on as long as they've had those self-checkouts. It's been around. As a matter of fact, I'm telling on them a little bit, but I won't say who it is. I have a relative that almost got caught up in the skip scan because he was working at the place, and you just bloop, skip the camera. It looks like you're scanning everything, right? But in reality, you're not really scanning everything. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. But now they have those scales that it's supposed to weigh the whatever the items are, and
but with some items, when you scan it, the item is too big to put on that area on that scale.
Yep, that's true.
You try putting a 60-pound bag of dog food on.
Right. That is true. That's the young lady. I don't know, man. I mean, how long do you go to jail for doing that? She got charged with retail fraud. That's what the actual charge is for
Well,
it.
I think Walmart need to be charged for not employing people like they should do.
I agree. I think there's been less people working at Walmart over the years. That's why we never go. We never go to Walmart. I'll go to Sam's mainly because of the mobile app that you can use to scan your items, so you don't have to wait in line. I'll go in there. I'll get whatever I need to get. I'll scan it and pay for it, and I just go on out the door. But it's just they don't have enough people in there. They just don't. And a lot of these retail places, they think it's all cool. Oh, serve yourself, check your. If I'm serving myself, I should get a discount. If I'm checking out my own groceries, why can't I get a discount on these groceries?
And what happened to good old-fashioned American customer service? If I've got a question, then I can go and ask a question.
Right.
And that's where I feel Walmart, made a mistake. And I really feel, to a certain degree, it's a bit of a. If they do it properly, I think it's a bit of a comeback. To be perfectly honest, on the likes of Amazon,
right?
It's all online because you've got that, customer service. Anyway.
Well, we'll see.
So, what else have we got going on?
Let's see what else we got
chaos
here.
in the UK.
Well, I know they. You probably tapped in a little bit more than I am on that, but I know they ousted that lady. Well, she resigned, right?
You can refer to her as that lady.
And then
Liz Truss.
And then the new guy's coming in, the Indian guy.
Which I'm real happy about.
Yeah.
I'm real happy about it. And I'm happy about it for one basic reason: is his ethnicity, which I like.
Indian.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I like that. I like to see diversity in any different community. And I feel when I've listened to him before, he seems very down to earth. Very, he doesn't seem a typical conservative.
Right. I was going to try to pull up his name here. Let me see.
We don't know his name, and we're talking about him.
We are talking Rishi Sunak. That's his name. He's the new guy that's coming in. Young guy. Handsome gentleman. Let's see. So you all will know who the new UK Prime Minister is. If you haven't seen him, this is him. This is the guy. He's coming in. I think he's 40. He was 42. He's replacing Liz Truss. In there, I think she was in what, like 2 weeks, 4 days,
42 days. But I mean, you and I disagree on the trickle down effect, and what they tried to do is to take the American trickle down effect, and there was a complete uproar in the country about that, and it really was the end of her, and then everybody started resigning around her, and it was just chaotic. And to be perfectly honest, when Liz Truss I think they were the two that originally was going to take the Conservative Party. I wanted him to win it then. You know.
Well, they're from the same parties, but you know, she might still have kind of a silent voice back there behind the scenes. But you know,
she will do what every woman should do.
Well, sit down, go to the kitchen, cook.
You got it. She can go to 10 Downing Street and she can do the cooking.
Man, stay out of politics, right? That's what you say?
No, I'm only joking. You know, I'm only joking. I'm sure there'll be some comments on that. But it'll be interesting to see what it does.
It will be. It will definitely be interesting. Cannot can't do it. But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, so I mean, this is probably a sensitive subject for some, but we did miss a question in the comments. It says, so do you think it would be okay for a store not to serve a person of color because of their ethnicity? Well, you know, my opinion, it's apples and oranges. That's just my thought, my opinion. Not to say that it's right at all. I think we've gotten beyond that. And of course, that's a civil rights thing in it. But I think in this particular instance with the baker, they could have made the cake for the people if they wanted to. But they just chose not to. And I think as a business owner, you have an opportunity to refuse to do business with whomever you want to. I mean, if it was someone coming in with I don't know, I think I saw a parody of a show, I think it was a Dave Chappelle show or something like that. A guy came into this black neighborhood.
Before you go into it, I love Dave Chappelle.
Oh, yeah. It was dry cleaners. And the guy came into the dry cleaners with his clan robe. And the guy was like, man, what is this? You know, what you do? You know, he almost got beat up because, you know, he brought it to the black neighborhood. But it was all a joke. But I don't know. I think we're too sensitive when it comes to things. People have their line. They could have just came in and baked the cake for the people and said, okay, you want a pink cake and a blue cake? All right, cool. I don't got to know that it's about a transition or none of that. Ain't none of my business. Just tell me how you want the cake done. As long as it has no, you know, like no penis or butthole, butt cracks or nothing on it, because that's kind of inappropriate. But
it's a good point. I mean, would it be okay if you walk into a store and you're not going to serve somebody of color because of their ethnicity?
No, that wouldn't be okay.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's a good point. When you... So what's the difference between...
Sexual orientation and color?
Uh-huh.
I have no control over my color. Zero. I can't choose it.
You don't have any control over your sexual orientation.
Absolutely. Well, I would say this. Some people would disagree, but I think if that was the case, there would be no instances of someone. Well, I was with a woman, married to a woman, and then I transitioned to now I'm with men, or I was with men, and now I'm with a woman. I think it's, you know, it's what you feel like makes you most happy. But if I keep my mouth closed, and I say nothing to you, there's no way you know what my sexual orientation is. You couldn't know.
It's nobody's business.
It's no one's business at all. That's why I'm saying they could have gone in there and had them people bake a cake and say, listen, I need this side to be blue. I need this side to be pink. And, you know, put blah, 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 blah on it or whatever. But I think they were...
say some things you could put on the top, but I won't.
Yeah, you could, right? But I think they could have handled it, the baker as well, could have handled it differently. If they want to just make that green money, I don't care what it is. But I don't know, man. That's my opinion, of course. This is an opinion show, and that's how I see it.
And then I've got to sort of fall back on something.
Excuse me.
Rishi Sunak, the new Prime Minister.
Yeah, we just talked about him.
He's richer than the royals.
What?
Wynn puts Rishi Sunak's wealth in the spotlight.
Oh, wow.
London Rishi Sunak is one of the wealthiest people in Britain and will soon be the most powerful when he becomes Prime Minister. This may be the first time in history that the residents of Downing Street are richer than those of Buckingham Palace.
That might be a good thing.
You know, I think it'd be a brilliant thing.
Because you can't bribe him with money. You know, he's not driven by money. You know how I feel about these politicians coming in and they become multi-millionaires once they get into whatever their position they are, and we know the highest position of the state only pays, 450 grand.
And then the next paragraph reads, Brits are used to being ruled by elites. Boris Johnson was about as elite as they come. God, he was stupid. But Sunak is not just rich, he is super rich, which has prompted some to ask whether his vast fortune makes him too rich to be Prime Minister.
How
His
is that
backers,
possible?
however, say it is precisely his background as Chancellor and years spent making money that qualify him to lead a deeply damaged nation during these economically tumultuous times. Sunak is a former banker, and his wife, Indian tech heiress Atisha Murty, have an estimated fortune of about £730 million, according to a Sunday Times rich list. On this year's list, published before her death, Queen Elizabeth II was estimated to have £370 million. So that's considerably more.
It is.
You know, and I'd heard that's why I went back to it, because I was looking for the article. So I read this in the week, and I thought it was pretty interesting that, he made his money. A banker, of course. It's always the bankers that make the money. It's the bankers that are printing the money.
Yes, sir.
But
So the last thing I had is, of course, the talk of the town. At least from what you just tell me. Just answer these questions. I got some questions for you. What color is the sky? That's for you, sir. That's for you.
for me,
Yeah, what color is the sky?
what guy?
The sky. What
Here
color
we
is
in
the
a
sky?
former defense and
Blue, I hope.
Yeah, what color is the sky? Okay. What color is money? Our money, United States.
Green.
Do you care about Brittany Griner being locked up in prison?
Yes.
What? Let's hear what you got about it. Let's hear it. What is it?
Because I feel she's being used as a political pawn by Russia.
Okay. So,
Should she have done what she did? She should have been smarter than that. Going into another country, you should respect the crimes of that country that you're going to. You know, if she's got dope in a case, then she should have been a bit smarter than that. But I feel that she's being used as a political pawn at the moment, especially what's going on in Ukraine, which I think is terrible.
it's unfortunate that it happened the way it did for her. But at this point, man, I mean, think about it. If I was in jail here, would she be, protesting or worried about me? No, she would not. I don't think she would. The appeal was upheld for her for the 9 years prison sentence. Now, was the prison sentence excessive? Yes.
But do you honestly think that they're going, in Russia, the way the system is, that they're going to even change the term?
Oh no, I think it was a waste of time.
Absolutely, it's not a true justice system.
Yeah, it was a waste of time. I mean,
everything's everything's like the theater.
I mean, quite frankly, they gave her just short of the maximum sentence, right? 10 years, and honestly, it's an overreach or an overkill in our opinion. But who's to say that that's the law of the land over there? That's what they are doing. That's their law. And when you're over there under their law, you got to follow those laws.
Absolutely.
I can't go to Australia and decide that I just want to drive on the other side of the road because the laws are different. So while we feel like it's excessive, she's getting a penalty for the offense. But to say that we're going to release this bomb creating guy or whoever this dude, I don't even know who his name is, in exchange, I don't know, man. I think that's what Russia's trying to do. They're trying to get us to release that guy, and he's a war criminal that, you know, we've got locked up, and I just don't feel that that matches. It doesn't.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you. I really do. I don't think that, you know, you knew the crimes going into it.
Absolutely knew the crime going into it. And, you know, it sucks. Don't get me wrong. It's not cool.
My mom and dad used to catch me doing stuff. I had to bear the consequences.
There you go. There you go. 9 years is excessive, though. I mean, I won't.
In the 70s and the 80s, it wasn't just consequences, it was a beating.
Right. It was legal to do that, right?
Well, I don't know if it was legal, but it happened.
Well, there you go. It wasn't seen as illegal. Like now, these kids, you can't even go beat them. You know, they want to go tell on you. I'll call the police on you. Like, yeah, I'll call them for you. But you about to get this whooping. Yeah, man, that's a special circumstance. So I think we'll see what happened.
What's your outlook, James, for the stock market?
Man,
I was looking at somebody yesterday, and they reckon that we bottomed out, and now might be the time that we're starting to lift a little bit on the stocks.
Maybe a little.
You know, and there's been a little bit of relief. You know, with some of the earnings that have come in this morning haven't been what they hoped. I think there's a bit of a problem with Google.
Yeah.
Where am I?
Excuse me.
Google, Microsoft, I don't think the earnings was as strong as they was hoping them to be. Google, Microsoft. Yeah.
Are they up?
Well, I don't think the earnings was as strong as they was hoping for them to be. Tesla's up, which is, you know, nice to see. Tesla needs to get up there.
I think it'll come back. I think it'll come back.
It'll take for Tesla to come back, though. You know, I mean, you read some of this ridiculous stuff where they say Tesla will be $1,000 a share by 2025, which to me is just ridiculous. Five times.
That is ridiculous. Because it's split already.
I don't think that's going to happen. I was all against the split. I didn't want the split to happen. To me, that was the worst thing.
Right.
Yeah, you know, Elon's looking at buybacks, don't you, next year for Tesla?
I don't know. I don't think it'll take. I don't know that it'll get that high, honestly. I don't think it'll get that high. But I think what's kind of been unsettling is this whole Twitter crap. I think that's had some bearing on it, quite frankly, because no one's really known what he was going to do, if he was going to dive in and get it.
Here's the issue, I think. If he gets a little bit too loud-mouthed and voices his opinion too much on Twitter, indirectly people are going to fall off some of his projects. You know, they're going to get emotionally attached to some of his, you know, they're going to sort of take it against him because of his freedom of speech.
Right.
And that's what I feel is happening with some things, that he's getting into things. Although he's doing a lot of good in some things, like he's providing, you know, Starlink to the Ukrainians and such like. What's the answer to the Ukraine, James?
We should mind our business.
Eh?
We should mind our business. All this money that we talking about, we don't have. We paying more for all these goods that we have here, we're sending all this money overseas.
I don't agree with that completely. I really don't agree. With somebody like Putin, I think he's the next world Hitler. He's done the same thing. That's Kazakhstan. He did the first thing, the same thing. Then he did it to Georgia. Then he did it to Crimea. He makes them have, the illegal votes, and it'll just go on and on and on and on and on.
So do you think...
And until you turn around and stop the guy.
How do you stop him?
Simple. It's called war.
Well, see, then that's my thing. So...
What would you rather do? Have the war over there or have the war here?
Oh, no war here at all. I mean, that's a no-brainer for me. But here's my thing about it is, you think Scandinavia is worried about any of them? Are worried about Putin?
Yep. I do.
You think are they sending billions of dollars to Ukraine?
Yes. Yes, they are. They've even joined NATO.
I understand that, but we get involved in wars. We have never been involved in any of the wars that have taken place on the continent of Africa. Why is that? Why don't we send help and aid to the countries in Africa that are torn down, that we rip away minerals and resources year after year from some of those countries? Why don't we send aid and help over to those people like we do to some of these other countries?
I really don't know, but one of the other nationalities that's guilty of that? The UK. The UK they've taken things away from Africa, equally as much. And I don't know the answer to it, to be perfectly honest.
That's why I'm not on board with all of this stuff, man.
But the problem with Putin is nobody stands up to him. And the truth of the matter is, I would rather keep the war in Ukraine. NATO, will anybody win a nuclear war? No, they won't.
That's not a win for anyone.
It's not. But the problem is, the more he bluffs people, and the more that he, every time he says he's going to do something, and we don't react to it, I think it's a problem, because he's just going to bluff more and bluff more and bluff more. And I really believe he's going to blow that. He's going to blow the dam. He will blow that dam.
Guess we'll see. If so, you heard it here first on the Olympian Table.
He will blow that dam. He did it in 1942 when the Germans were there to stop them crossing that river. Well, not he didn't do it, but Stalin did it. And that's what happened. And Ukraine, in my opinion, they deserve their land back. I mean, they was invaded, And the systems available when a nuclear missile is launched, apparently does mean to say it's going to land in the US, because there's missiles that we've got that will take them out.
Right.
But I don't think they'll get to the point of, if they really want suicide, then I can guarantee you that's the way to go. Attack the US, because there'll be no turning back when that happens.
No, not at all. Hopefully they don't do that.
But I think it can be done, and this is why I think it should be done, is I think it's important that America backs NATO, because they are part of NATO, to keep the fighting, if there's any fighting, or if there's, it does get nuclear, to be perfectly honest, and it stays in Europe. And then it's Europe's problem. But this winter is going to be very difficult for a lot of countries. I have a friend who lives in Denmark, and he's very, very concerned about, how he gets through the winter.
Yeah.
But I really think that people should be stand up and, be counted for, to be perfectly honest. Somebody's got to stand up. It's easy to say, we all don't want war, but sometimes it's unfortunately it's unavoidable. You seen Bitcoin's up?
Is it over 20? I didn't see.
Yeah, Bitcoin's up.
Good. Maybe I can make some money back, because it's been terrible. Been terrible.
I don't think it'll go lower than 19. I can't see that. All right, guys. Well, I think that's sort of it, isn't it, for today?
Yep, that is it for today. We have kind of
Since we've been on air, the Nasdaq's gone up, down, and sideways. That's unbelievable.
Well, I haven't checked the bonds since this morning. They were up, but I need to go in and check those and kind of see where they are as well. So, we're gonna continue to do this thing. We're here every Wednesday, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
If you need anything regarding real estate, mortgage, check out the description below. We ask that you share, like, subscribe to this so you get notifications when we go live on Wednesdays. Because we talk about everything, you may not agree with. We don't agree with most things, but it's our opinion. Any advice that we give here is strictly our opinion. We don't mean to be offensive or off-putting to anyone. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns.
These are just our opinions.
Absolutely, just our opinions.
Anything you'd like to talk about, please,
let us know.
Please place it in the chat. We're more than happy to, talk about it, discuss it. And if you feel you're that strong, we might even get you on.
Get you on the show. Yeah, come on in here and grab a microphone. All right, till next time, we will talk to you later.
All right, take care,
Peace.
guys. Peace.